YouTube. I filmed my first ever YouTube video yesterday, and I've been trying to edit it. I realized whenever I went back through it that it needs a little bit more. When I was filming, I was making an introduction and I got a spam phone call in the middle of the introduction, so it got cut off, and I needed to provide a little bit more context for what the point of this video, series of videos even is. And I didn't even say my name. So I wanted to add a little bit more now. I wanted to go back, I'll put this in at the very beginning, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the point and say that, hello, I'm Tasha. So it's Tasha, not Tasha. It's a short A, like the A in, I always say mashed potatoes, platypus, cactus jack, the short A. You get it. People mess it up all the time, but we're gonna start on the right foot today. So I wanted to start this project, and I made an Instagram page for it whenever I first had the idea, and I'm calling it 29andBaking. More on why in a second, but I'm 29 years old, so that's where the first part comes from. And I'm also trying to stick with the things now that I start. And there's a reason for that. I did have a realization about a year ago, which probably seems like no big deal to a lot of people, but to me it was kind of like one of those simple things that happens in your mind, and it just, all the things connect and a lot more about life makes sense to you. The idea is that you have to keep at things in order to become better at them, obviously, but I wouldn't do it. I would try once, and if it didn't go well, and it inevitably wouldn't because I'm a noob, then I would just assume that it wasn't for me and I wouldn't keep doing it. And by the way, some of this is in the official video, so I apologize if any of it's repeat whenever you go to watch that part, but I'll do my best to keep that to a minimum. So yeah, so I would just sort of not, I would kind of quit, and I just assumed that it wasn't for me. So I wanted to start a project where I want to learn how to bake, so 29andBaking, and I want to document it, I guess, because I think it would be a little bit fun to see my hopefully progress. Hopefully I improve over time, and so I want to do that and post it online. It's partly just to try something new, partly to push myself and put myself out there a little bit. Maybe on the off chance there's one person out there in the world that would like to follow along, I don't know, but I just think it would be a fun project. So I'm going to do that. One other note too is this again is my first ever YouTube video. I'm not the greatest at this. For some reason I thought that it would be okay that for most of the video I would just keep you here in the cabinet while I'm baking away. So I'm so sorry you can't really see everything that I'm doing in this video, but I have a plan. Next time I'm going to try to set it up quite a bit differently. I'm going to try and make it to where you can actually see what I'm doing. So hopefully that'll make it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I apologize about that, but yeah, again, my name is Tasha, 29andBaking, and if you want to hang out with me while I bake, I would also like to hang out with you while I bake. Okay, thanks, bye. Or here's the video now. Oh, just got a spam call, so far so good in this filming project, and I don't remember what I was saying. I had this belief that all talent was just like bestowed on a select elite few humans at birth by magical elves, and some of us just didn't have that happen, and so we didn't have that natural talent that was bestowed on us at birth. And so anytime I attempted something and wasn't good at it the first time, I would fail, and I just assumed that I wasn't one of those people and I didn't have natural talent, and I wouldn't keep going with it, and I wouldn't push past that discomfort and just keep on keeping on, like now I know all people do whenever they work toward anything. So it was a really exciting realization, because I realized, like, oh no, I probably can improve at things. I just need to keep doing them even whenever it's uncomfortable. So one way way that I've been really wanting to challenge myself and test my theory is I want to teach myself or learn how to bake. And I have very, very minimal baking experience. In the past year, I think, made a handful of batches of cookies and muffins, brownies, and a cake from a box. But I haven't really done more than that, and I don't really have any special tool. I did have a food processor, but it broke about a week ago because I was trying to make unleavened bread because I didn't want to go pick up yeast, and it killed my food processor. I had one and it started smoking because it couldn't handle the dough. And my goal is not to become a professional pastry chef. That's not what I plan to do, but I do want to see if I can learn and improve. And another thing that I want to do is I want to sort of look up a recipe, and then I don't want to do any further research after that. I have a tendency to want to control the outcome of things and control how it's going to go and make it perfect. And so it'll be an added challenge to not be able to like obsessively read about how to do what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I feel very uncomfortable filming myself and in my kitchen that's so beautiful from my cabinet here on my phone. But hey, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just going for it. Why not? Why not? So I'm making muffins today. I'm keeping it easy for the first go around. I'm making blueberry muffins. They're called bakery style blueberry muffins, so that sounded promising, with 107 5-star reviews. I have it written down on 2 little sticky notes. It was on my phone, but I had to write it down. 2 reasons for that. One, obviously my phone is being occupied with your souls, but also, do any of you also have the struggle where whenever you're making a recipe from Pinterest, it always goes back to top anytime you need to leave the screen and you need to go back to the recipe? Like maybe you have a text message or a phone call, or I don't get those things very often, but you know, whatever people get, then you go back to it and it goes back to top, and it's so annoying. You have to scroll back through the entire blog, which is great and all, but you have flour on your hands and it's hard to do. So I have all my stuff laid out. I'll just show you. Don't really know how to do this. I'm just gonna start cooking, I guess. I'm gonna be looking over here at my recipe because I certainly don't have it memorized and still don't really know what I'm doing. First, I'm going to be making the topping, so the streusel. And what I need to make that is a 1/4 cup, a bowl, a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm really clumsy, and I feel weird about filming myself, so I'm going to be even more clumsy. I'm kind of sweating. It's hot and it's raining outside. It's Missouri, humid. 1/4 cup of sugar. Gosh, I probably should have done this beforehand. I need a knife. Sugar's a little lumpy. That's okay. Right. Need 1 tablespoon of flour. I wish I could show you guys what I'm doing. I wish I had a better way to set this up so you don't just have to stare at my face the entire time. My crazy hairdo. 1 tablespoon of flour. Okay. 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. Hopefully that's 1/8 teaspoon. Let's find out. It's almost time to replenish the old cinnamon supply. Kind of exciting finally going through an entire container of spice. Did I get the right one? 1/8 teaspoon. Oh, that was a 1/4 teaspoon. Oh, jeez, I can just do half of that. I'll just do half scoop. A little extra cinnamon isn't going to kill anybody. Me, I'm the only person that's going to be trying these out, I imagine. Unless it goes really well, then maybe I'll give some to a friend. Okay, and 2 teaspoons of melted butter. Got my little container of melted butter here. It's been melting and cooling. What did I say? 2 teaspoons. It's a half teaspoon. Perfect. Now, mix. I think muffins are pretty easy. One thing I realized though is, since I've been thinking a little bit more about baking lately, and the past year or so, if I've made muffins, as I'm eating them, I get this feeling like I've never critically tasted muffins until this year. I don't really know what a proper muffin texture even is. Like, I know a good muffin whenever I have it. It's like, ooh, this is a good muffin. It just feels good. And that's what I'm going off of. But now I'm like, what am I looking for? I mean, moist, soft. What was the crumble supposed to be like? It's a word that bakers use. It's supposed to be a little bit denser than a cupcake, right? I don't know. Okay, here's my streusel, hopefully. Looks like it. Sure it'll taste good. Flour, sugar, cinnamon, butter, set aside. All right, it is set aside. Now I need a large bowl. Check. Bigger than my face. It's a large bowl. So I need to whisk some flour. How much flour? Take my whole knife. The orderly part of my brain loves the exactness of baking measurements. Like that, just how nice it is whenever you skim off the top of the flour. It's just like perfect. Oh, can't even tell there's flour in there. Alright, now I need baking P and baking S. Don't know why we need both, but apparently we do. 1 tablespoon of baking P and 1 teaspoon of baking S. Ugh, my teaspoon and my half teaspoon have butter on them. Just gonna do 4 1/4 teaspoons. Right, yes, okay. And salt. How much salt is that? 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have baking S in my salt dish now. Everything will be extra fluffy. It'll be fine. Okay. And that's it. Now I need to whisk all of this together. Whisk the dry ingredients. Ready to whisk. I have to give my coworker Peter credit because we just recently bonded because he was talking about making an egg dish and it called for whisking the whites. He doesn't have a whisk, he only has a fork, and I was like, me too! I also use a fork as a whisk. So yeah, I don't have a whisk. Neither does Peter. Peter's cool, so it's fine. Now I need a med bowl, medium bowl. Still bigger than my face, but I need to whisk my melted butter. Okay. My neighbors are outside. Whisk my melted butter. Sugar. Oh gosh, I can measure. Sorry, sorry. Did I do a full cup of sugar? No, I didn't. We're good. We're good. No worries. Thought I used 1 cup instead of a 1/4 cup of sugar in the streusel, but I didn't. It's all good. It's a lot to keep track of here, folks. I'm gonna whisk my melted butter and sugar until combined. I guess I could show you what it looks like as I get through each step, but it's not like this is gonna help any of you with your life. I'll definitely show you the results, but butter and sugar whisked. Add eggs, milk, vanilla, and mix ×2. You can handle that. Got my eggs. 2 eggs. vanilla. I mean, how much? 1 tablespoon. My goodness. I like vanilla and milk. You see the milk? Yeah, it's in there. Okay, now I need to whisk everything together. Next, I'm going to add get that egg broken up there. Don't want anybody to have an entire yolk in their muffin. That would be uncomfortable. Okay, eggs, milk, vanilla mixed too. Add wet to dry. Gently stir until almost combined. Switching to my I don't feel like that's mixed up well. I think it needs more whiskey. I've always been interested in baking. I look at things a lot more playfully now, and I look at it as an experiment instead of, you know, like if it doesn't turn out, it's okay. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't turn out. I don't see it like that anymore. Whereas before, I would just quit and never try again. So now it doesn't take away all the fun, and I definitely don't quit. And I think that food is the perfect playground for experimentation. And baking, I've always been interested in. So we would watch a lot of like PBS cooking shows growing up. So Cooks Illustrated, Lydia Bastianich. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of that. And a lot of Julia Child. I loved Julia Child, and she would cook with Jacques Pepin. They would cook together, and I loved it. And the baking episodes have always been my favorite. Like I always want to watch those first. And Cooks Illustrated is on Netflix now, and so I will like go through the list and watch all the baking episodes. And I would just watch it, but I would never do it. I don't understand. Like, how could you be so interested in something and not just try it? It was just because I didn't think I could. I was like, no, I don't think I can. That's not really a thing that I can. Magical elves didn't visit me with cupcake knowledge in my dreams and arouse the fetus. So I just never did it. But now, trying it out. I'm just going for it. Okay, I'm gonna stir until just combined. Kind of looks weird. Oh, jeez. I feel like videoing myself is so much worse. Like it might have turned out if I was just by myself and actually thinking and not trying to talk at the same time. This talking to people I don't know thing, I can do it. But long form, oh. You guys don't even know. You're all making me so nervous. Okay, so I'm just gonna gently mix. Kind of lumpy. Jeez. Until almost just combined. My back is sweating. Can't really turn my air on. I'm like one of those, I've heard people say this on YouTube. Can't turn on the air because it makes so much background noise. That's me, too. I am that person that I just mocked. That's me. I mocked myself. Oh, so now, okay, I need to add in my blueberries. The most important part. Look at these. Yay! Aldi's finest. So I need 1.5 C of blueberries. So 3 of these 0.5 cups. Look at them. Ooh. Fold in bloobs. That's what it says. Until just combined. Now I am familiar with the no-no of mixing too much. You're supposed to just barely mix it. Okay, I think I heard like 16 mixes somewhere in all my years of passively experiencing baking. Okay, alright. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to try to... Can I flip this around, I wonder? I'm just going to... Okay. Look at it! Ooh! Blueberry muffins! Ooh, 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 ooh. Hello again. Worst. This is the only food on me so far. It's not bad. Should I eat it? Yeah, I should. taste bad. Now I have to make this go into my muffin tin. I only have a 6 muffin pan, so I think I'm going to need to make 2 batches of muffins. And I don't have a cookie scoop or a ice cream scoop even. I just normally eat the entire container of ice cream, so there's no reason to have a scoop around here. So I'm just going to use my whisk's friend, the spoon. I don't know, how full do I feel? Doesn't say. Winging it. I mean, these look kind of pretty. They look like they look like muffins. Bakery style. I'm just going to fill them to the top. It'll probably take maybe a little bit longer. Oh, hair in my eye. Oh, man. Jeez. Oh, I was just talking to my friend the other day about how horrifying it is if you get something in your eye. There's always that moment of panic where you're like, it's never coming out, it's never coming out. Whatever it is, I'm never gonna get it out. And you like have to obsessively go to the mirror and get really close and try to find it. And you just know it's gonna be the time that's gonna get stuck in your eye forever, or just like go into your brain. But anyway. Oh, I just found a big pocket of flour. Look. Look at that. Oh, man. You see it? Damn it. Gently mix that in for the next batch. I'm sure I over measured the flour anyway. I'm an amateur. It's fine. Now I need to top the muffins, the less floury muffins, with streusel topping. It's embarrassing every time I say that. And I feel like I'm whispering. Can you hear me? I don't know how much streusel to add to these. Just gonna follow my heart and give them just one good covering. Oh. Muffin tin too. Oh, I put butter in the muffin tin earlier before I started talking, so hopefully they don't stick. Okay, so we're all covered in streusel, and we're gonna go ahead and put these guys in the 425-degree oven. According to my note here, 5 minutes at that temperature, then you bump it down to 375 and bake for 15 minutes. So here we go. Okay, I would show you, should I show you the oven? I wish I could be like my friend Joy. She has like oven gold. Her oven is always really clean, and mine's not at all. But I think I'm just gonna show you. It's real life. This is authentic, I guess, you know. Hashtag authentic. Can you see? Oh, I need to turn the light on. All right, here they are. Look at this. Oh boy, see, that's what I mean. Yeah, Joy, sorry. Anyway, so there's my little muffin friends. They're in their muffin tin, and we're gonna cook them for, I need to set a timer. Oh, no. God. Timer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why does it say preheat? I really hope this turns out. For 5 minutes, and then I'm going to bump it down to 375 as I said, and then I will update you after all that happens. And we'll have a look. Oh boy. Look at those. Not that you can see what I can see. They're looking all right. Okay. All right, We have about 12.5 minutes till the muffins are done. I'm just cleaning up in between things here, and you might recognize this bowl from earlier. This is the housing for the streusel. You might also notice that now it's empty because I was cleaning up and wasn't conscious, I guess, and just boop, just like right down the garbage disposal, because muffins are in the oven. To me that means that everything's done, but no, I still have these. Got 32 seconds left on the clock, and these are my muffins. They're very mound-like. I don't think they're going to be finished at the time when the timer goes off because I made them a little large, but we're gonna test them. I don't have a toothpick. I think I'm just gonna stick a whisk, wink wink, down in there and see what happens. So just a second and we will do that. Just kidding. Don't have any more whisks, so we're gonna use a knife. Alright, they look nice and golden brown. They're pretty. Let's see. Down there, hold out. Hey, you know what? There's really no wet, but I'm calling it. I'm calling it. They're done. They're done. Sorry, I keep having to stop my video because I don't know how to hold a phone and do anything else. So I'm gonna wait for these to cool, and I will pop them out of their little vessel here and be back with you shortly. Look at these. They actually look pretty great. I'm not gonna pretend that these aren't honestly the best looking muffins I think I've ever made. And it kind of feels like the whole premise of this video now is not proper. But the muffins look pretty good. I think it's time to taste one and see if they taste good. You know, they look one way, but 1 second. Let's give one of these a try. They're so cute. Yay. Little topping, little blueberries. I'm just gonna break it in half and look at that crumble, the crumb. Oh, look. All right. That looks pretty great, right? Yep. Good. Blueberries are pretty distributed. Let's taste it. Not very sweet. Not crazy sweet, which is I think a good thing because the streusel is good. It's nice and crunchy and sweet. Here I am pretending like I know what I'm talking about, but the texture's like I'm having that like yep, that's a good muffin, like that kind of feeling. Well, this is a total success. No failures today. This is a wonderful recipe because it's really good. I'm impressed. Well, streusel, he's turned out great. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, if anybody out there did. Sorry for the weird light on the top of my head the entire time that caused my hair to look even more frizzy than it actually is. An 8 out of 10. Maybe even 8.5. 8.5 out of 10. Easily. Thank you. One more. Well, I guess that would be technically like 4 and some change on the stars for me, but I would definitely just go ahead and get in with the crowd and give it 5. It's great stuff. Thank you guys. Goodbye.